And here is today's project. Got a little concrete and rock haul off. This is for the guy that actually came up with my logo and made my shirts. He's kind of flipped this house, I guess, or at least remodeled it and everything. This is some of the old sidewalk and what they had on the front was some old stone. We're gonna haul that out of here and then try to come in here and just tear out this old metal fencing and everything. We're gonna keep the corner posts, so he's kind of got those set, but then he's gonna come in here with the new fence. Kind of walk over here. You can tell nothing's been done with this property for many years. But yeah, I want to get all this cleaned out, and then those wooden posts, I'm going to take those out because he actually owns the duplex behind here. Kind of get these cleaned out and then kind of transition, get all the rocks and everything picked up and smooth it all out, make it look like it kind of belongs. Got this little section, and we're actually going to have some dirt hauled in and just kind of redo some of the yard because it's pretty rough and low, and then we got the other half of the fence. Like I said, I think he's going to come back later on and put a whole new fence up between the two, but just have all this to tear out. I think I'm going to haul off what they were left burning, and he wants to try to get some dirt in here and get all this prepped and have a guy come in here and hydroseed it and see if he can get some grass growing. And then all this junk right here just to rip the fence out, and but I don't think I'm going to get the dirt till maybe tomorrow or Thursday. So he's got another guy that he's friends with that's got dump trucks, but he wants to use him, which is fine, but I don't think he can get it over here until then. So for today, we're just going to get everything kind of dressed up and ready. And we'll just come in here and just kind of top dress this, haul all this stuff out, and see if we can't get him a yard. This right here is going to be pretty tough with all these trees because it's shaded about 100% of the day. So, but we can mix some rye or something in there, hydroseed, and maybe it'll pop up in some of it. Well, let's get the camera set up and start tearing some fence out. barn door, Jason. This is getting old. Or I need to stop being like one more bucket. Okay, well, the homeowner came home and he's decided he wants to go ahead and clear all this out back to the end of his property line and just extend his yard. So I guess we'll jump on here and start knocking some trees down real quick. We're back on this job where I guess I was here 2 days ago in the excavator and tore out the fence and the wooden post and the steel fence and everything like that, so it's really kind of hard to tell with the shadowing, but I got a ton of rock and junk and dirt and everything now. I'm going to kind of get rough graded up and some crap along the edge of there. I got 8 loads of dirt on the way over here, so I'm just going to run down where this is where that fence was at and try to smooth all this out and kind of blend these two yards and everything together. So I got a little bit of cleanup and hauling off, not too bad. And then here's the area that was just all brush and junk like that. We got it all ripped out and cleaned up and got this guy's yard extended. So I'm gonna get in there today and grade all that out. It's mostly just leaves and sticks and stuff like that. And get that hauled out of there and start getting some dirt, so let's get to it. That's where all that brush and everything was at, and got it ripped out of there and got the dirt spread. And got 8 loads of it spread over the whole yard. This is where the fence and everything was at, all the piles of rocks. So it came out pretty good. It's still a little powdery, so definitely makes it easy to rake and grade. It kind of pushes like water. But yeah, not too bad. Just in time for the hydro seed guys to get here Monday and spray their hydro seed. Here's the front yard. I got all that junk picked up out of there and got all the dirt spread and prepped out. Well, yeah, it didn't come out too bad. Still kind of wavy. Like I said, it's more of like a top dressing, I guess you could call it, because it's not very thick. I got a bunch of the roots and everything between the 2 houses ripped out down that property line, and 8 loads of dirt later. It'll look nice once he gets a good stand of grass on here and everything. Yeah. Getting ready to load her up and